welcome to the tracking section of Becoming Nature-Wise. Oh. Isn't it great how nature's always speaking with us? I love it. So why tracking, right? The layers that we are moving through in this training is how do we really come into a sense of belonging to land? How can we be claimed by place? Instead of stewarding the land, how can we be stewarded by the land and the animals and so forth, right? And when we look to our elders, our indigenous elders and brothers and sisters, across the globe, we see how they have this mythic relationship with place that is based on story. When we look up to Wai'ist or Mount Tohoma, the mother of waters, there's stories there. With almost every plant, there's a story of why it carries the medicine it does, or how that plant came to be in the land for the people or for the animals. And through these stories, we learn how everything is contributing to the balance and the living being of everything else. And so tracking is a way of tapping into the living stories of place. Because when we track an animal and we see its track, or we see its sign, we're not just identifying what animal made those tracks. We're feeling into the songs of that track, which is we're feeling into the story of that animal, which leads us into the living story that is all around us. The sounds of the birds, the deer trail that is right here, right? The rabbit trail that's just over here. It brings us into the living, breathing being that is this place. Now, through becoming nature-wise, we're going through these different layers of coming to belong to place, right? We're feeling into the plants and plant people and beginning to really experience them as conscious beings, right? We're feeling into bird language and listening in to all the sounds, the vocalizations, and what they are speaking that is happening in the story. So they are the living storytellers, right? They're telling the stories of what's happening right now. We're coming into the tracks, which is another layer of the living stories of place. We're coming into the hoop cycle and the ecological elements of the land. And we're adopting these mythic mindsets that brings us into the stories and the songs and the deeper relational aspects of how we fit into this greater web of life that is all around us every single day, but most humans are completely unconscious of. But we're a part of it, whether we are aware of it or not. And so this is what we speak about, of coming awake in the dream and entering the dreaming rather than just being asleep. Now, following tracks and tracking isn't just about identifying the animal tracks. Animal sign is tracking, right? It's seeing the fern tips nibbled off by deer, right? It's the flight of raven, right? It is seeing where the grass has been kind of smashed down from where a deer laid, or where rabbit has tunneled through the taller grass. It's seeing the animal trails that are often very subtle. You might not even notice them if you're not paying attention. It's seeing how bear may have scraped and dug up a fallen log to get some grubs and different type of larvae. Each of these are cueing us in to the living story of place. And the more you know, the more intimate you get to feel place, the deeper that connection is. And the forest can feel when you're in tune with the stories. And it will begin to include you into that next level of conversation. So with tracking, there are 4 specific areas that we explore. One is how to tune your senses into the environment. 2, learning to see the tracks and the signs, what to look for. 3 is entering the tracker's mind, which is a way of asking the right questions. And then 4, the shamanic aspect is the aspect of shape-shifting into the animal, shape-shifting into that which you are tracking, to enter its mind, how it's sensing its environment, how it feels to move through the landscape as that animal, what's motivating it to move in this area. That's where the deeper hidden lessons and learnings come available to you. So the next few videos will go into how to enter the tracker's mind, how to ask the right questions. We'll talk about the etiquette and ways of shape-shifting. And then we'll go into the practical aspects of tracking an animal, of identifying tracks, their gait patterns, and so forth. Okay? I'm excited.